Hey there, this is Brian from HiFi Buys in Atlanta. You may have noticed I'm not sitting behind a table with a bunch of gear in front of me, because today we're not talking about gear. We're talking about the stuff you play on that gear, the records, the CDs, the cassettes, the music. I'm here at Atlanta's most iconic record store, Criminal Records, located here in Little Five Points in Atlanta. Been around for years, and they sell more than just records, CDs, and cassettes. They sell local art, they have a comic book section, collectibles, even lava lamps. You name it, man. This place is cool. Let's go inside and check it out. Can't wait for this tour. This is gonna be cool. See you inside. All right, guys, we're getting ready to kick this tour off. Caesar has been nice enough to take time out of his day to show us around Criminal. Caesar, nice to meet you, man.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. So tell me, what do you do here at Criminal Records?
I am the used record buyer for Criminal Records since 1995. We're kind of in slash the stage area slash my desk area for cleaning records.
Yeah, this is where you clean records and bring in all the used records, but as you mentioned, this is a stage, and I see you guys have some really cool acts.
We've had some great ones. We've had Mumford & Son, The Pretenders, Jack White and the Raconteurs, Ride, Childish Gambino, Janelle Monáe, Mastodon.
Man, those are big names for a record store. That's really awesome.
They're always a lot of fun.
You spend a lot of time up here cleaning all these used records, as you mentioned. Some of them come from basements or attics, not stored in the most ideal conditions.
Yeah.
We just recently did a HiFi Buys video about record cleaning processes. Don't have to go into a bunch of detail, but tell me sort of what do you do?
Well, you know, for things that are heavily soiled, we use a spin cleaner, which is a fluid bath. That takes off any heavy dirt, grime kind of thing.
Sure, sure.
And then after that, I run it through a vacuum as well, the nitty-gritty vacuum cleaner.
Other than condition, I guess, is there any other criteria that you guys have or that you personally
You know, for
have?
me, it's like the more esoteric, the better. I like having a well-rounded selection of things, you know, so I'm not against any particular type of music, whether or not it's something I'm into. There's a fan out there for everything. So I'm looking for stuff primarily that we do not have or that we don't see often.
All right, Caesar, let's get this tour started. Let's check out some of your handiwork and show us around Criminal's used record selection.
Follow me to the new releases.
All right.
As you can see over here, we've got our new arrivals section. After I finish cleaning up a record and price it, it goes out here. Every week I post to Instagram stuff that's being featured that's coming out for the week. I usually put out about a box or 2 records a week, roughly about 200 to 300 records.
Wow.
People come in here on a weekly and dig through this, and usually the better stuff tends to go away really fast. Anything that's like popular, as soon as it hits the floor, gone.
For a new this week section in a used record store, this is huge. So this is really, really cool.
We do buy a lot of used records.
You ever see people bring back stuff that they've bought from you over the years?
Oh, totally, all the time. Even like our old price stickers from that we don't even use anymore from years ago.
What a kind of cool circle of life thing.
Yeah, that's what I love about records. It's totally sustainable.
So I notice, you know, we're standing here in front of the new this week section, but I know that there is a lot of other used vinyl sections around here. Can you tell me a little bit about how you kind of curate the collection and sort of the process?
I know, well, when it first goes out here, this isn't separated by genre or anything, it's just alphabetical by artist name. Sits a month, then we file it into our different sections. We've got pop, rock, musicals, soundtracks, country, metal, punk, blues, jazz, a whole lot of jazz records, R&B, gospel, hip hop, electronic music, classical music, international music, reggae, comedy records, sound effects, spoken word.
I mean, that is definitely one of the things that I love whenever I come down here is the diversity of all the different genres of music that you guys carry. It just actually noticed this back here. This is a classic Cars record.
Original 1979 pressing right there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think this one might come home with me, if you don't mind.
Great choice. The majority of the stuff here is going to be new records. Speaking of new records, RSD is coming up, so let me show you the RSD section first.
Awesome, let's check it out.
So here we have the record store day stuff that I was talking about. We're a big part of record store day if you're not familiar with RSD. There's 2 a year, one on Black Friday and the other one's usually the 3rd Saturday in April. And there are all these special releases, reissues that have never been reissued before, limited edition color vinyl. And it's a way to bring awareness to record shops. It's a really cool thing, and this is all the merchandise that we have left over from prior record store days. This will be filled with a whole batch of new stuff coming April. And there's all kinds of neat things. Great collection from Frank Zappa. This is the man that should be in the White House. God rest his soul. Alternate covers with bonus material for the Gorillaz. Every year, the Grateful Dead puts out a giant box set or 3 of live performances. They, of course, have plenty of catalog to go through. I would say this is the best part to start in the store here, because here you're gonna find things that you're not gonna find anywhere else, per se. These were created in limited edition quantities, and once they're gone from here, this will be it. There'll be something you'll have to find on a secondary market.
Yeah, I noticed when we were digging in here a little earlier, there's this Mudhoney box set that I'd like to have as well. I noticed you have some posters up here from some of the people that have done in-stores in here.
Yeah.
Super
Charlie
cool.
XCX came in, was really sweet. Run the Jewels guys have always come through and supported us. Mastodon, really big friends of the shop. Yeah, so this is gonna be all the exclusives for Record Store Day, and then we've got the rest of the store, which is tons of great stuff as well.
Awesome, let's go check that out.
So basically here we have the rest of the bulk of the store, which is going to be our new record selection, where you're going to have new artists, reissues of classic albums, anything that's come out in the last couple of months.
Tell me a little bit about, like, how do you guys curate what comes in? Is it just, you know, sort of what labels send you, or is it your all's personal picks?
It depends. I mean, you know, a lot of time it's solicitations from different labels for new releases as things come out. You know, somebody on staff might really dig something, say, oh, we got to check this out. A lot of it's customer feedback, you know, when customers come in asking for different things, you know. I'm constantly getting hit to records that I didn't know anything about, or bands that I didn't know anything about, because somebody comes in asking for it. I get one person ask for it, I get 2 people, 3, it's like, we need to order this.
Talk to me a little bit about sort of the history of vinyl. It, of course, was the only real way to consume music.
You know, for Neil Young, it's the only way to listen to music. But yeah, you know, went away for a little while there in the late 80s and early 90s. You know, most companies started just producing CDs, and then the internet killed the CD thing for a minute there too. But the backlash to all that and not having any actual physical media made the record come back real strong. So now we're producing records, not quite in the volumes that we were back in the 70s and the 80s, but it's definitely back and strong.
Speaking of records and people pressing them, one of the things that I see that's real cool is a smaller bin, and this is all local music, right?
Yeah, it's all independently produced local music that cats bring into us here at the shop. Yeah, this works a little bit different than the other stuff because, you know, there's no way to order this stuff. The bands basically have to come into the shop and be like, hey, we've got this release, would you guys sell it for us? So we cut a deal with them, they set the price. I think we do like I think it's a 70-30 split. And they come in once a month to make sure the records are moving or not moving. We try to support as much local music as possible.
That's awesome. It's a great resource for local bands. I mean, having been in a local band, awesome to be able to have your records out, or CDs. You guys actually have a local CD section as well. So it's not just records if you don't have the money to get a record press.
We also do like the whole promotional thing, like I said earlier, with the bands coming in and playing. You know, we had Upchuck, a local punk band, come in and do the record release party here. Huge blowout party. So if you got a band out there and you got a record, you want to sell it at Criminal, and you want to do a show, hit us up.
So obviously streaming is a popular format, but in streaming you don't actually own the music. You're subscribing to a service and you just get to listen to the music as long as they host it. This revival of getting back to records and CDs and cassettes, I mean, you know, from your perspective, what do you think?
It's physical media, just having something that you can hold in your hands. You know, the idea that you can take 2 AA batteries and still listen to something without an internet connection no matter where you are. Liner notes, posters. Nothing beats opening up a gatefold jacket and like seeing all this artwork and reading along to the lyrics of the song, you know?
Absolutely.
And it's more of an active thing when you're actually like, you have to get up and flip that record over or rewind that tape, you know, or pick another CD and put it in the player. It's a more active process, you know? It's like, in a lot of our streaming day-to-day thing, you know, it's like, it's just kind of like become sonic wallpaper. You're not really paying attention to it.
Yeah, in streaming we kind of consume, like you say, little snippets, a song, a single.
Yeah.
I think it was a Tom Petty record I bought, and I was like, you know, I remember I like this song. I put the record on, listened to the whole side, was like, oh yeah, I like that song,
I like that
and
song
that song,
too,
and that song.
It's an active listening.
Yeah.
You know, you're
engaged.
Yeah, you're engaged in it, exactly.
So Caesar, man, that's awesome that you guys are a venue both for performance and for selling of local music. And as we've talked about, Criminal Records also supports local visual arts. Let's take a look at some of that stuff.
Come check this stuff out.
Awesome. So we're here and, you know, as we talked about, you guys support local artists. These are some very cool shirts by local artists. I mean, talk to me about kind of what it means to support local artists and not just music, but media, print, all that stuff.
Well, all that establishes a very strong sense of community, you know, and we're all about trying to keep the community here in Atlanta cool. Being the store that we are, we make sure that we take care of all the local artists as well, because that inspires the music. Therefore, you know, it inspires everything else. So it's all part hand in hand. We've got prints, comic books, magazines, t-shirts, stickers, all kinds of stuff.
So awesome.
We try to have a little bit of everything.
Speaking a little bit of everything, you've got...
Oh yeah, the Criterion Collection, some of the best movies ever made, presented in the best way possible.
Well, I know you guys have a very well curated book and comic book section, and within that is something I'd never even thought about. Local comic books. How cool is that?
Yeah, let's go check that out.
Let's do it. Walk in, you just see this amazing collection of comic books.
Yeah, we've been doing the comic book thing for quite some time, and this is basically what's come in the most recent week or so, and some featured items that we've selected up here.
So the comic books aren't just a second thought. You guys actually take care and curate these things, really think about them.
Yeah, we actually have a buyer that takes care of all the ordering and whatnot, and selects what we carry and what we don't carry. We try to lean a little bit more towards the independent things, but Akira will probably tell you a lot more about that.
My name is Akira Brown, and I am the comics manager here. I run all of the buying comics to organizing them. Of course, you got the main titles, but then there's like a lot of indie publishers, there's a lot of like smaller presses, there's like single issues to graphic novels, to manga, to locals. The local scene in Atlanta is very like kind of connected, so like they come in and they ask like, hey, can we put our stuff on consignment? We've got space, so yeah, sure. We also sometimes have like zine fests, so like little festivals where people will table out front, and it is just a lot of community building. Community is very important, to me at least. The comics section here is, I think, pretty special, bias aside, mostly because it is so curated. It is also more intimate, so with larger comic shops, you kind of get lost in the weeds, but with Criminal Records, because we are a section of a music store, you're always gonna find something new. Diversity of comics is like a fun thing for me, specifically because traditional comic shops, it's like the superheroes and all that stuff, whereas when I'm thinking of the person that's buying comics, I'm thinking of the kid that didn't know that like there were more black superheroes. I'm thinking of like, oh, the queer kids that are like, oh, I want representation in this book. The things that I didn't see or that I'm seeing now, and I'm like, if I'm going to be the comics manager, I'm going to curate it for people that are trying to get into comics or trying to find themselves in comics or just, you know, want something new and different.
Caesar, man, thank you so much for this tour. This has been just awesome. I mean, I think we barely scratched the surface of what Criminal Records is.
Like I said, we've got so much. I haven't even scratched the surface of it. There's so much in the store.
You've been here for years. So.
Yes.
And we've got cassettes, we got
the new releases, collectible records, record players, toys.
Rock and roll pins for your jean jackets.
Exactly, everything you would need to be a true fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I am going to buy that Cars record I found earlier.
Excellent. Right on, my pleasure, man.
Thanks again.
Take care. Make sure you give them the discount.
Friends and family. So again, I'd like to thank Criminal Records and Caesar and all the rest of the staff here for showing us around. And again, we've barely scratched the surface. So if you're in the Atlanta area, if you live here, if you're just visiting, come into Criminal Records, check it out. It's the only way to see all the stuff that we missed. And if you come into Criminal Records, you're in the Atlanta area, you buy a record, a CD, come see us at HiFi Buys. Bring that record or that CD. Let's play it on a few systems and let you listen to it in probably ways you've never heard before. So until then, enjoy the music.